It's another Saturday, and it's about that time where we come to serve you the very best. Spring Delight is the program on Western Spring Television. Today's edition promises to be very exciting and informative. Please sit back and let's enjoy the ride together. My name is Olayinka Ali, and
Tornado is my name. We're so super glad to be back again, and we welcome you to another edition, the very last edition for the month of January. And it's always lovely when you have black people doing the right things and making sure we do it in the best of ways. Thank you for being here. If you're not proud to be a black man, then you probably, I don't know what to say.
Today you're feeling yourself.
I'm so proud to be a black man.
I love your
but
shade.
Not extremely black.
No, you're actually very black.
I'm not very black.
You look like a Ghanaian.
Oh, really? Well, then there's somebody who looks like someone who's from Democratic Republic of Congo.
That's Annie Baba.
I'm not mentioning names. On behalf of the entire transmission team, we'd like to welcome you to Spring Delight. And just as Jinka has stated, it promises to be superb. We will serve you the very best in every ramification. Thank you for always keeping faith with us. Let's just make it happen. January is fast ending. Wow. Remember when we started earlier in the month, in the year, when we said, welcome to the new month now.
Yes.
Welcome to the last Saturday.
In January.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
You're churchy, Yinka.
I am.
Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll look at some of these stories making the round from the dailies, and we'll do today in history among so many things we have put together for you. Stay with us.
According to the words of Michael Forbes, one who never asks questions either knows everything and nothing. Watch me as I ask the questions you think no one wants to answer. Even questions it appears no one has got the guts to ask. My name is Femi Adifula, and I've got the gut. Let's ask the pertinent questions and watch as we get answers.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around here. Yup, we've got you covered because your girls got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be showing on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Definitely we are live, and thank you for being there with us. Spring Delight, if you're just tuning in, welcome. Let's check out some of the major headlines making the rounds from the various dailies that we have with us and for you today. I have the Nation newspaper with me.
And I have the Punch as usual.
And we'd like to welcome our in-house analyst. Thank you most sincerely. He's a former Dean Student Affairs from the Federal Polytechnic Ede, Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho Jr. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
I was looking at probably you probably moved over to the level of the comrade, the comrade doctor. All right, let's check out some of these stories making the rounds.
Okay, on Punch, Osun Governor Adeleke PDP cry foul, plan appeal as Oyetola Hills Tribunal. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has declared his intention to appeal the judgment of the Election Petitions Tribunal that nullified his victory in the July 16, 2022 governorship poll in the state. The All Progressives Congress and its candidate Adegboyega Oyetola had dragged Adeleke, the People's Democratic Party, and the Independent National Electoral Commission before the tribunal to challenge the PDP candidate's eligibility to contest the election. The petitioners also said INEC did not conduct the poll in strict compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act and the Constitution, and asked the panel to deduct excess votes discovering in 744 polling units spread across 10 local government areas of the state. What do you have to say?
That is very interesting. You know, in Nigeria, politicians prepare for three things. The first is that they get money to canvass for votes. Later, they get money to buy voters. And then they get money, save money for litigation. And so we are expecting there will be litigation. And definitely the litigation will continue to the Supreme Court. So that Adeleke has said is going to appeal, has even appealed it, is unexpected something. But about the election, the judgment was based, that's what we are expecting. And the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. And then the politicians should learn to abide by the, pronouncement of the judiciary. Their argument in court was on three stands. One is on the secondary data from the INEC secondary, from the INEC server. The other one is the data from the beavers. And then again, they're arguing whether Section 51, Section 50 of the Electoral Act is correct or not. In a situation where you have, if the Electoral Act, the amended Electoral Act 2022, says that if there is overvoting in any polling unit, that result should be declared null and void immediately, declared null and void, and then cancelled. And then possibly INEC will determine whether to have another one or not. And that is the import of their argument in the court. Now that the tribunal has made its pronouncement, they have appealed it, then we'll be waiting for the decision of the appellate court anytime from now.
I just want to use your good office and your very amazing personality here and everywhere to appeal to our people out there, supporters of the two major parties at this point in time, with the spate of which we've been hearing of violence, skirmishes in some areas.
I said it on radio that election has gone and come. All the contestants are citizens of Osun. Their supporters should be calm. The politicians should calm down their supporters. And two, this same Adeleke, Oyetola won in the election before the last one. Oyetola won. Adeleke went to court. The tribunal gave him a victory verdict. And then Oyetola appealed, and then at the end of the day, Oyetola was installed. So this one too will be appealed. It has been appealed. And then the court will take the final decision. I want to appeal to all the supporters of the two parties, of all the political parties, to calm down. we gain nothing from violence. The two of them are our citizens. Any of them could be governor. And the fact remains that it is those who are living that we even hear the outcome of the pronouncement either of the Supreme Court or of the Appellate Court. So there is nothing as good as peace. So I appeal to their supporters to maintain the peace. I appeal to politicians to calm down their supporters. There is no need making pronouncements that will generate violence. Osun is a peaceful state, and we should maintain that.
Thank you. Still on Punch, my victory collective for Osun Nation's Democracy, Oyetola. Immediate past governor of Osun State, Gboyega Oyetola, has described the verdict of the Election Petition Tribunal, which validated his victory in the July 16, 2022 governorship election, as a collective victory for the state and the nation's democracy. Oyetola, while speaking with newsmen in his country home, Iragbiji, said there was no victor, no vanquished. There is no victor, no vanquished. It is a collective victory for our state and our nation's democracy. He said, I am happy that the judgment had resolved the controversy of the July 16th, 2022 governorship election.
Well, that is good coming from the former governor, because as we talk now, Adeleke is still the governor of the state. And until the case is decided, specifically in the Supreme Court, if he appeals to Supreme Court, that is then we are going to have the final verdict. But the statement coming from the immediate past governor is edifying. It's good enough to calm down everybody. It's victory for everybody. And like I said, Adeleke won the election. The tribunal said no. They will go to appeal court. The appeal court may say yes or no. They may move to Supreme Court. Supreme Court may say yes or no. And after the verdict of the Supreme Court, there is no other place you can go. And like I said, politicians must learn to live by the verdict of elections. And it is important that we realize that somebody must win an election and somebody must lose. And like I just said now, the two of them are citizens of this state. They should learn to govern people well. If there is good governance, nobody will even be interested who occupies that position or not. So I like that coming from the governor. The statement coming from the sitting governor, Adeleke, yesterday too, was edifying. He said the supporters should calm down and there should be no violence, and that he's going to appeal the case, and he has appealed it, and they will be waiting for the judgment. I think that is good enough.
While we appeal for peace in Osun State and in Nigeria as a whole, let's move over here as anger, frustration over scarcity of new Naira notes as deadline looms. That's another thing that is...
no, that's a big problem for the country now.
We have just some few days to go.
Yes, we have some few days to go. The CBN is saying they are not going to extend the deadline. The new notes are not available. I've said it earlier that the new note must be made abundantly available for people to exchange it with the old one. And a situation where you can't get it is not acceptable. Now you get to the bank, you change your money, you go back to ATM to collect more money, they give you the old note. That is not good enough. So I want to appeal to the CBN. If this non-availability of the new note continue, then there should be an extension of the deadline. But if they can still make it available now, within the next 2 or 3 days, properly, if it's available, then people will change. Nobody wants to keep the old note. And there is no need suffering Nigeria, because it's imposing another suffering on Nigerians by not making the new currency notes available. They are the people who said they want to change the note. We didn't force them. They have changed it, so they should make it available. Two, in the midst of this crippling petrol scarcity now, this is a double jeopardy. And I want to appeal to government, the president, who is the Minister of Petroleum, to make sure petrol is made available. And then all this can serve as a big problem to the incoming election. They should make petrol available. We should get money to spend. And if you have your money and you can't change it, that is not good enough. And I think the CBN governor should monitor. He should listen to the voice of the National Assembly, who has summoned him and telling him that if you can't make this money available, please extend the deadline.
Thank you. On Punch, why Nigeria must prepare for Russia-Ukraine war fallout, Akinyemi. A former Minister of External Affairs, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, has urged the federal government to re-evaluate its domestic preparedness to deal with the fallout of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Akinyemi spoke in Lagos on Friday at the second lecture series of the Department of History and International Relations, Lagos State University. He said the country needs to get funds into the security sector, that the troops are good if well equipped and well motivated. The new leader coming in must be prepared for a lot of hard work. Is he saying the right thing?
Yeah, he's saying the right thing. He's saying the right thing because the Ukraine-Russian war is a NATO war, it's a European war. It's an American war. Okay. The Americans, the Europeans under NATO, they are all supporting Ukraine. And then Russia is insisting and that, you know, Russia, the invasion of Ukraine is not really acceptable because every issue should be solved on the dialogue table. Because at the end of the day, despite all the killings we are witnessing now, they will still come to the round table, not to come to Nigeria. Nigeria need to prepare for such things. Now, the grains from Ukraine is affecting us here. We are overhearing that ships cannot actually bat regularly because of the war in Ukraine, and that is affecting possibly the petroleum, you know, products. Because, you know, we have crude, but we have to import all the byproducts of crude. We have to import so many things that can be disrupted by this war. And so a country like Nigeria that is a sovereign state should prepare for situations like this so that it is not every time we have a war like this, we have problems in our own local entity. We need to be prepared, must be food conscious, we must have food security, we must have military security, we must have health security to the extent that we can protect our citizens, that any war from any quarter will not affect us negatively. I think Professor Akinyemi was saying the right thing.
Well, Professor Akinyemi said the right thing as always. Let's look at the speed at which scarcity of fuel is. We've heard that somewhere in Ondo State, it's about 500 naira per liter. I don't know if you have a reservoir.
No, it's killing. The way it's biting is killing. In fact, I left my house this morning 5:30 with the hope of checking all the stations before I get here for the rave program, you know, whether I will get petrol. There was none. Even at black market rate. What I saw in Bovas, that there was petrol in Bovas, but the queue was so long and killing. And so I'm appealing to the president again. He is the Minister of Petroleum. And so the buck ends on his table as the Commander-in-Chief too. They should make this product available. And in the midst of an incoming election, can we joke with this? This can cause insecurity. It can disrupt the election. It can disrupt the peace of the country. And so they should make it available. And like I was joking with somebody that, look, even, you know, to pretend, because the election is coming, just make this thing available and let us have peace. Look, we can't be battling with petrol, you know, shortage of the new Naira note. At the end of the day, you still want us to vote. How do we vote? How do we get to where we are going to vote? There is no petrol. There is nothing to power your car and your, you know, to move around. So this is double problem. And I'm appealing to the government. And this government must do something about this if they don't want to postpone the next election. If we must hold the election, petrol must be made abundantly available because Nigeria is about 200 million people, 774 local government, 36 states. We have to move to actually prepare for this election. And if there is no PMS, you are causing a lot of problems that will affect the outcome of the election. So I'm appealing to them to actually make PMS available and then make sure that the country is peaceful before, you know, during and after the election. And apart from that, as citizens, this crude is produced here. We should enjoy it. What is the problem? I was joking with somebody that, look, they said Dangote is coming. Dangote should be giving crude at a discounted price so that we don't need to be battling. If they are buying PMS in a place like Cameroon, if they don't have PMS, if they don't have crude oil, if they are buying it $100, we should be buying it $20 because we have it here abundantly and it's not getting finished. So why can't you make it available? And why should we be suffering in the midst of a product or a resource we have in abundance?
We just hope things can get better and get better right here in our dear nation. I don't know how long do you stay at the filling station? She cannot even queue. Yinka cannot queue to go and buy fuel.
That's the problem. I have to queue for my wife.
I can't
queue for the family and queue for myself. And I think you have to do that.
The same thing I have
the woman, so we have to assist them. And to queue even in the petrol station, honestly, it's terrible. And then you see all sorts of riffraff, sort of crisis, fighting. Somebody will bash your car, and you may queue for 4 hours. At the end of the day, you may not get the PMS to buy.
The weather is not even favorable.
Yeah, that's it. And so government should listen to us and stop this suffering. We are really suffering, and it should be stopped.
I'd like to thank you, Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho Jr., for always answering us anytime we call you.
Thank you very much.
And definitely, we would love to just have you. But I want us to just, before we allow you go this morning, let's quickly just look at that aspect of the new Naira note once again. We have just 4 days to go. These monies are not in circulation. Do you think there should be an extension?
Yes, it should be in circulation. They are the people who told us they want to change the notes. We didn't force them. So we expect them to have been fully prepared. That is one. Secondly, it can be made available. If they are printed enough, they should make it available to people. Now, the idea of saying possibly they want to stop people who are holding it, not who can't bring it to them, that's different. I have only 5,000 in my pocket I want to change. How does that affect somebody who is having about 20 billion? That's between you and the person. Make the money available to the masses. And then once the masses have it, the situation you have with the rich people or those who have enough in their house and they can't spend it is between the government and them. And in Senate client, there are rules that guide such things. And then there are rules that guide deposits and withdrawals. And then we have such rules here. Why can't we impose this? I think the CBN should not be playing, a prank with Nigerians. They should just make it available. And I'm saying, if it is available today, tomorrow, and next tomorrow, everybody will be happy. These next 3 days is even sufficient, to stop the problem. But again, if they cannot do that, if it is not available abundantly, then they should extend the date, because we can't keep on suffering. At the end of the day, a section of the CBN Act says that the old note should be spent, simultaneously with the new note. So why are you even giving a deadline? But if you want to give a deadline, make the new note available to everybody. Mind you, we are underbanked in Nigeria, and we have a lot of rural areas where there are no banks. How do they actually get this money out? And that is why they should consider everybody. They should not consider only those who are in the cities. So I'm appealing to CBN again, and the president in particular, who is the commander-in-chief, to review the situation and see if there is a need for an extension. They should extend, because if it continues like this for the next 2 days, then there is a serious need for extension.
Is it that the federal government cannot caution Emefiele? Is it too big to be cautioned?
Well, it's not too big to be cautioned. But if you have listened to the president is speaking in the same tone with him. The president said, and I have him on video, that there is no need to extend it, that 3 months is enough for anybody to change any money he has. But even 2 months is enough if you make the new notes available everywhere, in every nook and crannies of the country. Nobody will complain. If I get to the ATM now and I access money and the new notes are coming back, all the notes in my house, I will take them to the bank, exchange it, and then everybody who is taking note from ATM, you are getting new notes. There will be no problem. I think the problem is that I think they have another intention of dealing with another thing that we don't know. But the one that is most important to the teeming populace of Nigeria is that, please, we accept your rule, we accept your law. You can change to new note, but make the new notes available for us to access. Let it be available in all the ATMs. Let it be available in the POS. Let it be available in the bank. So if you walk into the bank, you just give them your money, they change it for you, and off you are gone. So there should be no problem.
Do you think if the deadline is not extended,
there will be crisis. There will be crisis. There will be serious crisis. In fact, there will be economic sabotage, and that sabotage will affect the country even more than what they are trying to solve by changing the naira. No, again, it will affect the election. The election is just some days to come. I think less than
30 days.
Less than 30 days. And so whatever happens now, the ripple effect will continue the next 2-3 weeks. So if they don't, they will be causing a lot of economic sabotage. People will not have money to buy something. I wanted to grant something on behalf of my wife yesterday, and the girl took it there, and the woman said he's not taking the old note. I was surprised. And I said, okay, take 500 naira new note, go and give her. What we are paying is 300 naira. And then I told the girl, when you get there, let her give you a change that is new notes. Otherwise, don't pay. Fortunately for us, the lady has granted the thing already. So the girl went back and then came back with new notes. And I was happy. So if we can't exchange things, if we cannot do our transactions, then you are calling on Nigeria to start trade by barter. Because if I want to grant something now and you are not taking the note I have, then I have to give you something to enable you to grant it for me, because I must eat. I must do something. Transaction must continue.
Absolutely.
So they can't afford, government cannot afford not to make the naira notes available. And if they are going to keep to the deadline, they must make sure the money is available. Otherwise, the best solution they have is extend it. Even if they are using this Naira note as a way of cautioning politicians from spending too much money during election, we still have 30 days. So you can still give us 1 week, 2 weeks to exchange the money. We still have that. That will be sufficient. So government should consider the masses, and the masses are what is involved in this. You know, somebody who has a bullion van or somebody who has a lot of money in his house, some of them are bankers on their own because they own banks. You know, they can afford to change whatever they want to change. But the masses, let them change the little they have so that they can, you know, do their daily works, feed themselves, feed their families, and then there will be no problem. But it is when you cause problem like this for the teeming masses that you cause economic sabotage. And when it happens, government will not be able to cope.
Well, I'd like to thank Dr. Omotosho once again, and thank you always for being here anytime we call you.
Thank you.
It's still Spring Delights coming to you live from Western Spring Television. I don't know why Rave FM is always more in my head.
You're a rave man.
We'll take a short break. We'll bring you a couple of things that happened today in history on this day. Please stay with us.
Western Spring Television. Ours it is. Born Jeremiah Oyeni Obafemi on March 6, 1905, Obafemi Awolowo was a prime architect of Nigeria's independence and most consummate advocate of free education and social welfare in Africa's most populous nation. Erudite politician, thinker and philosopher, Awo was fondly addressed by associates and political colleagues, brought his unique attributes to bear on governance in the defunct Western region. He administered as leader of government business and the premier between 1955 and 1958. Obafemi Awolowo's premiership witnessed pioneering in the multi-sectoral policy initiatives and execution. The Western region under his administration paraded several enviable records. First television station in Africa, first real estate in Nigeria, first high-rise building in Nigeria, first modern sports stadium in Nigeria, first agricultural settlement in Nigeria, first modern civil service secretariat in Nigeria, and first industrial estate in Nigeria. His face is on 100 naira denomination as a mark of honor for his distinguished services to his country. Western Spring Television identifies Obafemi Awolowo as a major character in history.
We'd like to say thank you for being here. It's still Spring Delights, and we're moving on. A big thank you to Dr. Motosha for joining us. The next stage in which we are here is something that is very paramount. When you see this set of people amongst us in the society, we tend to always feel, what happened? How did the fingers, the hand, the skin, how did they creep off like this? And tomorrow, every last Sunday in the month of January of every year is always a year that is commemorated by the United Nations to celebrate lepers. World Leprosy Day is actually taking place all over the world tomorrow to commemorate that day. And the theme for this year is Act Now, End Leprosy. We have a doctor in our midst in the studio this morning. He is a dermatologist from the Uniosun Teaching Hospital. It's a pleasure to have Dr. Olayemi Olanrewaju with us this morning. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning.
All right, let me first of all, there's a breakdown of leprosy. You've got that for us. Tell us a little bit about that introduction about leprosy.
I don't have it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's with me here. Leprosy is one of the oldest diseases known to humanity, and it is a chronic infectious illness that affects the skin, peripheral nerves, muscular surfaces of the upper respiratory tract, and the eyes. Early presentation and treatment will avert its complications.
This is why the last Saturday of January every year is set aside to celebrate the World Leprosy Day. The celebration is to create public awareness on leprosy and against the stigma attached to the disease.
Yeah, okay, so definitely right now, Dr. Olanrewaju will avail us this opportunity to expatiate about leprosy. But let's take it from the lowest first of all. What is leprosy? Even though I know we've been able to reel out what it looks like here.
Yes, like we said, leprosy is an age-long disease that has been with us for years. It's a disease of the skin, the nerves. It affects the eyes, affects the upper respiratory tract, even sometimes affects the bones, even the muscles. And it is caused by bacillus. We call the Mycobacterium leprae. Now, it's a slow-growing organism, and it's transmitted from one person to another. But it is transmitted slowly. It entails close contact with an individual that is leprous before the other person can contact it.
Doctor, please hold on.
Yes.
When you made mention of close contact.
Yeah.
Close, is it just like Yinka and I are seated? If one of us got it, can we get it like this?
No, that was
No.
what you meant.
When we say close contact, it might be somebody you are living with, that have been for a long time, because it is not actually with skin-to-skin contact.
Okay.
Because the bacillus is not excreted through the skin, actually. Except there is a direct inoculation of the organism through the skin. But that would be a breakage of the skin, because that could occur. But most of the time, it is by droplets from the sneezing, from the coughings of the individual. And it takes a long time, actually. Sometimes somebody may have contacted the leprosy, the bacillus, for about 20 years before the manifestation. Or sometimes between 2 to 5 years. It varies really, but it is a slowing green organism, and it is over time contact with the individual, not skin-to-skin contact actually, but it is spread through droplets from the sneezes, from the cough, from the individual that has leprosy.
What's that, the actual cause of leprosy?
Yeah, the cause is a bacterium. Bacterium, we call it the Mycobacterium leprae. It's a family of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, actually. But they are the same, from the same genera, really. But it is Mycobacterium leprae, a bacillus that has a slow growth.
What the symptoms attached to leprosy? What are the symptoms attached to leprosy?
Now it is easy to mistake other diseases, skin diseases, from leprosy, because the skin appear like there are so many patches. Hypopigmented patch that may be demarcated, that is separated from other depending on the type of leprosy that the person is contacted. We have the tuberculous leprosy and the lepromatous leprosy. That's to the two pools. Although we still have some differences. Differences in between. But the major ones, it depends on. It can be clearly demarcated patches, hypopigmented patches. Sometimes it can come with nodules, papules on the skin. So it needs the expert to actually diagnose it. Sometimes you can think it is psoriasis, it is tinea, that's the dermatophyte infection that people are treating, but it is actually leprosy. But one of the cardinal things that we know that this thing is leprosy, one of the things we do in the clinics is that there is anesthesia, loss of touch in the areas that are affected on the skin with leprosy. And many times we also see that there will be thickening nerves because it affects the peripheral nerves. There will be thickening of the nerves. But one of the first things that we first to identify is that there is loss of light touch in the area that is affected. Most other diseases don't have loss of touch because they are not destructive on the nerves.
Can you please tell us the different types of leprosy, class by class? Okay. I understand there are classes of leprosy.
Yes, like I said, we have two polar leprosy: the tuberculosis leprosy and the lepromatous. Then we have borderline tuberculosis, borderline. Then we have borderline lepromatous. What this means that, indeed, let me just make it a simple explanation.
Please.
Now, the tuberculosis, it means that you can have few cells there. The body immunity of the individual is very strong. Well, actually, the immunity that the body wages against the leprosy, but the bacilli is what we call cell-mediated immunity. So it is so strong in people that have tuberculosis. So you can just have maybe just one patch that the body do not allow the thing to spread. You can just, it will be one patch, two patches, but it is controlled by and that one actually has a lot of early nerve damage because as the bacillus itself attacks the nerve, but it takes a long time before the bacillus itself destroys the nerve, if it's only the one. But the cell-mediated immunity, as it's destroying the bacillus, it's also destroying the nerve because the bacillus have refuge in the nerve. So as it's trying to destroy the bacillus itself, it's also destroying the nerve. So it is easy to have anesthesia on the type that we call tubercular leprosy. Now for the lepromatous.
Sorry, before you go back, what is bacillus?
Bacillus is a type of bacteria that rot shape. We have different classes of bacteria. But we have some that is gram-positive, gram-negative. They leave that for this thing. But it's a bad type of bacteria. We call them that. We have some that are coca in shape. We have some that are rod in shape that are just plain. But this one is a bacillus. It's also a rod shape. So it is the type of a bacteria that is low growth. So it's a bacteria. It's not a virus. It's a bacteria
neither is he a fungi.
All right, I expect, please, Director, please, why don't you just scroll up some of the visuals for us on screen, so let's people get to see what it looks like. Yeah, that is just what type of leprous hand is this?
Now you can see this one. This one has been auto amputated. Now you can see the fingers are short. There have been amputations. Now what happened with this is that this is a complication of leprosy when it is late stage and it is not controlled because of the stigma. Actually, people don't come out for early treatment. And even when families know that this one is diagnosed leprosy, is leper, they want to isolate, they want to remove the person. Even some villages, they will just send them out of the village to the bush. But that is not acceptable now. Now, when people come late, there's auto amputation. Why do we have auto amputations? Because nobody is cutting that finger. It is the disease that is making that finger to just be now. Because like I said, the leprosy, so the bacillus has refuge. It has a predilection to the nerves. So when it affects the nerves are destroyed both by the bacillus and the cell-mediated immunity against the bacillus. Then what happens is that there is loss of feeling. So the individual can touch nauseous substances and will not know.
Wow.
He can put the hand on fire and will not feel any pain.
Wow.
So he can put the, and they begin to, and when that is occurring, before you know it, there are ulcers, or non-linear ulcers. Before you know it, all those places are going to be auto-amputating gradually. And the person will become disabled. You know, if it's somebody that you can imagine that. So if this person is a driver, he can't drive again with this kind of, and it is a late stage complication of leprosy. Because really, leprosy is not, the mortality in leprosy is not really from the leprosy itself. We have much morbidity, disability with leprosy. Because like this person now must have to change job. Because he can't use this and again, and that thing can also be occurring in the legs. Coupled with the stigma that he can't fend for himself and nobody is going to take care of. And this one now that we are seeing, you can see is the nerves have been affected. Now the nerves are the one. This is a claw finger. He can't use this finger. It's not yet auto-amputated. But what happens is that you can see that if you look at the muscles in the digits here, you can see that there are furrows here because they have been atrophied. Why? Because if the nerves are no more working, they are the ones supplying all the lumbricals, those are the muscles in that place. If the nerve have been destroyed, there will be atrophy of the muscles that are supposed to be supplied by the nerve. So you can see there's atrophy, and before you know there's contraction. So you won't be able to straighten that finger again. All the hands, you won't be able to straighten it because there are already contractions, and you can't use it again.
Oh, goodness.
Except there are some other manipulations from the other specialties to at least aid the individual. But like this one now is all the fingers are almost gone.
Are children also infected with this disease?
Yes, children too can be affected. In fact, 10 to 14 years old. I mean, even a peak of 10 to 14 years, children, any age can be affected.
My goodness. Now, Doctor, before we talk about the World Leprosy Day, which is always celebrated every last Sunday of January of every year, let's act. Probably there will be a relief here. Is leprosy treatable?
No, leprosy is part of diseases that are highly treatable.
Did you just say highly treatable?
Yes,
But people don't know.
People don't know because of the stigma. And but now, like some of the pictures that we saw.
Yes.
Now, it shouldn't have gotten to the stage of auto-amputation, claw fingers, disabilities like that before. It's because those ones are coming late. Early presentation. I mean, it's just like we have tuberculosis, TB, MTB, the one for the chest, for cough, the chest. They are the same family. So leprosy is highly. You can see the name Mycotuberculous lepre, for leprosy, Mycotuberculous tuberculosis, Mycobacterium tuberculosis, right there.
They are members of
the same family. They when we take this immunization that we used to take those days, the BCG, they have a kind of cross effect on the lepre and the tuberculosis. So that's what we take for tuberculosis. The number that they used to call in those days. So the thing is, if the patient presents early, And we have had people that presented that there are no complications. It is treatable. There are drugs for it. By the time it is getting to this stage, we have on amputation, and we need to bring in so many other specialties and bypass surgeons and everything to the. But it is treatable.
I think this disease is common in a particular, side of the country.
Yes, first of all, it's a disease of the tropics. Though we have it in other climates too, but not as much. Disease of tropic and poverty. Low socioeconomic areas of the world. We have it more. We have a part of Nigeria. We have it more. About 86% of people that are in India.
India.
We have it in Madagascar. Whoa. We have it in Brazil. We have it in Nepal. I mean, those areas are leprosy belts of the world. But the thing is, if you look at something that is a factor with all those areas, you will say it is much in North America, in like Canada, the Europeans, though they have it, but not as what we have. You can imagine when we have like 86% of people having leprosy in one particular continent. The thing is, it is a disease of the poor, less educated, low socioeconomic areas and tropics. But it is an age-long disease. Many years BC, it has been with us. Before Christ, it has been with us.
Wow. Dr. Olaimi, can you help us? Let's look at it. Is this preventable? How can we prevent it?
Now, the one of the active prevention of leprosy is, because it is a disease that is spread from one person to another. It means that if you get the person that is affected early and treated, the spread is curtailed.
Okay.
But when it is not treated, people tend to hide it. If the individuals, the families that have discovered that there are people, there are somebody, member of the family that has it, they tend to hide the individual at home because they wouldn't want the community to say, we are excommunicating this person out of our community. He's going to be living in the bush, in the forest. They don't want that. They hide the person. They don't bring for treatment. Then it can easily spread. We have had people come to our clinic that the 3 people in the family that are affected because before they come for treatment. So the first thing is to come early so that the individual that is affected are treated and there is that is stoppage of transmission of the disease.
Are there cases of leprosy in Osogbo, in Osun State?
Yes, we have what we call Damien Foundation in Osun State here. That's at domicile one of our hospitals in Ashibi area. There are cases of leprosy that comes to when you have cases of leprosy. There is a foundation that actually cater for that. So there are cases, but not. And the thing is, we cannot get accurate statistics because it is the people that come. I myself have seen some in a lot of cases in my practice in this town, actually. But there are cases. It is not something that is, that we don't have it around. No, we have it around.
Okay. Is leprosy still as rampant as it was in the olden days?
No, it is not as rampant. Because now, you see, when there is treatment, it is treatable and curable. So the thing is, since that is occurring, then people can get, that's why we are doing this World Leprosy Day for enlightenment. When you tell people that feel that they don't have hope, there is hope. And it is a true hope, not that I just try to cajole them to telling them there's hope. That this is treatable, this can be curable, then people begin to come out. So it is something that, and the more we have, sometimes ago, even malaria itself kills a lot.
Yes.
But now, you can see people dying easy. But now there are so many things that drugs that, it is the morbidity have been reduced. So it is not as when we don't understand what the disease is. What I think since like 1873, that is when we have actually identified this disease itself. That we will actually be able to isolate that, okay, this is the cause of this leprosy. And we have gotten to say that we have drugs now that eliminates it, that clears it off. And it has reduced than what we used to have when the slogan that it is the bush that the leper is.
So aside from the auto amputation, it doesn't kill?
Now, if you look at there are wounds, on healing wounds that because the person, if you have a wound now, you are going to protect it until it heals.
Yes.
Because you feel extra pain in that place. But they don't feel that. They just they continually injure that area that is ulcered. Now what happens is that when there is a breakage, you know the skin, as we hear, when there is no break in your skin, it is difficult for infection to come through. Now when that happens to them, when they have wounds here and there, they can have what we call superimposed bacterial infection that can cause sepsis, that they can die of that. Cellulitis, that is inflammation of the muscles, of the subcute. That one can cause a systemic sepsis that can kill. That means a secondary thing that can kill. But aside that, the leprosy itself does not. They are apart from the disability. If it is in the eye, it can cause blindness. So apart from the mobilities, that is, I'm not able to do my normal thing. I'm incapacitated there and there. It is the secondary infection, secondary things that kill the leper actually.
Yeah, quickly, doctor. Let me ask this very fundamental question. Is it hereditary?
No, leprosy, like we have said, it is a bacteria. It is not a genetic
so it's okay.
thing. It's a bacteria. You have to contact the bacteria before you can be affected. Where people think that it runs the family, it is because the people in the close that are harboring the person are actually not aligned the treatment, so they can easily contact it. But it is not a genetic disease that
can be hereditary.
That can be transmitted from somebody as a gene. Yeah.
That you're talking about kids, so you said from 10 to
10. We have it. We can not that it cannot affect lesser than 10, but we have it more.
That was actually
we have seen ranges between 10 and 14 years old that they get infected. But it's not as if it can affect the.
So let's take an example. Let's look at an example. A woman breastfeeding that doesn't know she has been infected, and taking care of the baby, breastfeeding the baby. Can the baby contact?
Now the baby can contact not from the breast milk.
Okay.
No from the breast milk. Like I said, the transmission of it is first of all the droplets from sneezing. Right? If you look at where we are introducing it, we say it in the pharynx, in the upper respiratory tract.
Yes.
They have, because it has the predilection to those areas because they are cooler. The nerve is cool. The skin has a lesser temperature. The testis is also part of its where they take refuge. So it is. So where they proliferate in the upper respiratory tract, they are much in the droplets, sneezings of that individual. So the child who have contacted it through the sneezes, not from the breast milk, like we said, does not get excreted from the skin itself. So mere just brushing a person constantly that has leprosy, does not.
Definitely, if I enter Kurupe and somebody wants to enter, there's no need to run.
There's no need to run. But the body has the skin has touched my skin, no.
When is it advisable for anybody who has that kind of skin disease? Because I remember while we spoke about this, someone said he has this
psoriasis.
Yes, which you identified for us that it isn't leprosy. But when is it most advisable for anybody to see a doctor when you have such any skin disease or death?
Now, where you have, it is better now because we are accustomed to taking over the counter drugs here and there which sometimes can accumulate into aggravating things that does not need to be aggravated at all. What we need is that when a person is having any skin disease, you have seen that this is getting strange on your skin. And I mean, you have taken over the counter. It's not advisable to take over the counter anyway. But anytime you have discovered this thing is abnormal on my skin, I've not been noticing this before, contact it because there are so many things that can mimic. Like that person that called us, I have psoriasis. No, those are 1001 diseases of the skin. But the thing is, when you have any, it is to the clinic where you get to the doctor to be able to identify which is which. What is this one? Is this leprosy? We know what to do to know whether it is leprosy. We can easily do at the bedside at the clinic. Okay, let's first see is he still feeling any touch here? When there is no feeling, we know this is suspicious. So we need to do the normality either if there is skin snip. Sometimes we have to take biopsy even of the nerve of the skin itself to go and identify the organism. But any individual has any skin changes to just present to see the doctor and let.
But Doctor, before we allow you go here, let's look at this year's commemoration and Act Now and Leprosy. That theme, why that theme? What does it mean? And what are the things we should expect as we commemorate the year?
Now, like we have said that leprosy is still a debilitating disease. Leprosy is still a debilitating disease that affects people, make people to be disabled, not be able to do their work now. And there's a part of the health education in the community, and there's a part of government to look into. The government, we have so many things pressing, and it is the one that that comes more that attend to at the. We want the for this leprosy day, Act Now, end leprosy. Leprosy can be ended actually, can be eradicated. We have seen diseases that are only existing now in the labs. Like disease like smallpox was rampant, killing before. It was ended, and it is now we can only just get it in the lab now. Have the organism in the lab now. Leprosy can also become the same, and it is a matter of educating the people, health education, awareness that is going to be paramount in this 29th of January. Awareness to the people and to be able to even affect government policies on this kind of this thing, resources to be channeled. There are so many people in the rural area. There are some unreached places that seems to be having forgotten, and these people are there that needed to be reached. Awareness so that people can go. Early treatment is the key to this matter.
Okay, so how well is the government responding at all level?
Well, like I said, we have Dame Foundation. That now when a person is leprous or has leprosy, there is free treatment if it goes through the foundation that are being aided by the government and some other individuals that are. So the government is trying to just want. We are Oliver Twist. We always cry for more.
All right, we'd like to thank you most sincerely, Dr. Olayemi Olanrewaju from the internal office. He's a dermatologist from the internal medicine department, Union Teaching Hospital. Thank you for this enlightenment, and please just keep on keeping on. Because I know we used to be scared anytime I see that. We're like but thank you most sincerely for coming. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about our next guest is here. Then we'll look at how Yinka will stop wearing all these Igbo things. Let's come local and let's do it. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Look! Please stay with us.
ṣe bá a sọ̀rọ̀ kò yé mi rárá o. N kò rí irú ẹ̀rí èyí rí o. N kò rí irú ìfẹ́ èyí rí o. Ọmọ tó níwà tó sì lẹ́wà o. Mo fẹ́ mọ̀ lè rẹ o kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ mọ àwọn òbí rẹ o bèbí mi yé. Jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ mọ àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ o. Ọmọ oníwà tútù yìí o. Mo fẹ́ mọ lé rẹ o kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Bèbí jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ. Ọ̀ní kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Olólùfẹ́ jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ. Oh, what a feeling. Running me on love. I can't help myself. Baby, I wanna love you. I wanna be with you. Both night and day. Share my life with you. Baby, I wanna love you. Oh, what a feeling. Knocking on my lips. I can't express myself. Baby, I wanna love you. I wanna live with you. Grow in your hand. sì lẹ́wà o mo fẹ́ mọ̀ lé rẹ o kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ mọ̀ àwọn òbí rẹ o bèbí mi yé. Jọ̀wọ́ mo fẹ́ mọ̀ àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ rẹ o. Ọmọ oníwà tútù yìí o mo fẹ́ mọ̀ lé rẹ o kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Bèbí jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ. Òní kí n máa bá ẹ lọ. Olólùfẹ́ jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ. Oh, what I'm feeling, burning me all up. I can't help myself. Baby, I wanna love you. I wanna be with you, both night and day. Share my life with you, baby. I wanna love you. Oh, what I'm feeling, blocking up my lips. I can't express myself. Baby, I wanna love you. I wanna live with you, grow in your arms. Our babies with you. Yeah, that's all I'm giving. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ ní o, àó àjẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ o. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ ní o, bébí o jẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ o. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ ní o, àó àjẹ́ máa bá ẹ lọ o. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ ní o, baby I wanna love you. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ ní o. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ ní o, baby I wanna love you. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ ní o. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ. Oh yes. Ó máa bá ẹ lọ. Give me the arms, give me the arms.
Follow you wherever you go, and I know you will follow us wherever we go. I love
Sunday,
that.
I'm not going to follow you wherever you go.
I will use everything in my capacity to make sure that you go.
You want to start doing jazz?
All right, as on the concluding side of Spring Delight this beautiful Saturday morning, 28th day in the month of January 2023, we will bring to you the diversity of creativity that we have right here in our dear state and in Nigeria as a whole, for our audience watching us all over the world at this moment in time. Look, we are a special set of people, and looking at how things are prepared, there's a very young man, amazing young man. He's young at heart, even though he has white hair. He's here with us in the house this morning, and we will introduce him, but he will do a broader one, because what he does is amazing, and looking at how this is being done actually caught our attention, and we decided to bring him up on Spring Delight. That look, teachers, what are the procedures, what are the things that needs to be known when it comes to making adire? It's a pleasure to have Mr. Okunla Gabriel in the house with us this morning. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A pleasure is mine.
You can see the adire itself. Obviously, I need not ask that. Did you make this by yourself? Also,
Sure.
There's no going back about that. Now, this is beautiful. I remember Yinka and I, while we passed through your place, and we saw what you were doing, how it's been done. Now, let's first of all start from your personality. So, why adire? Why that business?
Well, thank you for that question. To start with, I have interest in producing things. I mean, to be very much creative, and that is what I went to go and read in my higher institution.
Oh my!
I went to Osun State College of Education in Ilesha.
Okay.
A fine art student there. Then to OAU Ife also. So after all the paparazzi and some other things like that. So I decided to be the CEO of myself. So I went to Abeokuta for further learning. You know, the practical aspect is not being taken in our institution to that length. I'm sorry to say that. So you have to go there and learn more on your own. You know, it's only the theoretical aspect you are taught in school more. So after some years in Abeokuta, then I now think of, we still have another place in Nigeria that are into this thing. So I decided to come back to Osogbo here, because in Abeokuta, most of the stuff about the textile design is tie and dye.
Yes.
They base their own on tie and dye. So I decided to come to Osogbo, where they are doing batik. So if you're talking about batik, the originality of batik is here. In Osogbo, in Osogbo.
What's the difference between batik and tie and dye?
The difference between the two is that the tie and dye, you are going to use what they call raffia. You know, in the olden days, they use raffia, but now we are using a synthetic fiber, you know, to subsidize raffia, because raffia is no more common like that again. So you just tie the area where you want your design to remain and open the other side that you want to change the color. But the batik, you make use of what we call a paraffin candle wax. You understand? Instead of tying, you use a wax to spread on the place that you don't want the dye to enter. Do you understand? So after the whole process, you dye it. Maybe it's going to one color or two color or whatsoever that belongs to you. But after the whole dyeing process, you wash the chemical again, so that at the end of the day, you know, by the time you are dyeing it and all manner of things like that, you might have put what we call hot water on the fire, just to de-wax again. Sure, you understand?
All right. Now let's what we are seeing on our screen here. How do you make all those designs? How do they stay on the clothes? Just like what you are wearing, it's something that baffles me. How do you go about this?
Well, to start with, the fabric that is suitable for this job must be 100% cotton. Not just ordinary fabric. You understand? It must be 100% cotton in the first place. So when the fabric is 100% cotton, be chiffon, be anything, you are free to go ahead with it. Do you understand me? Then all the work on each of the fabric is I can't say is stamp work, because it's from the mental picture. I mean, from the memory. Sure, you understand? You just create any pattern that you mean. Yes, that you mean it's meaningful. So that's
what are the different types of adire?
Well, we have tie and dye, we have adire batik, we have the traditional adire, which is adire eleko too.
Adire eleko.
Eleko. The reason why we call it eleko is because you are going to use a pap with feather instead of the foam you are using to spread wax. The feather, that one is an ancient work, you know, ancient way of doing things. And the process of dyeing that one is not as like the one we are doing on the batik. Because that one you are not going to make use of maybe caustic soda or sulfide to mix the chemical together. But this one, they make use of what they call elu. It's ordinary leaf with cocoa pad together on the traditional pot. That is how they do things in the
olden days.
So, and that one spend a lot of days and a lot of time before it is being done.
This design you're putting on, what's it called?
Is batik.
This is batik.
Yes. And when you are talking about the history of batik, it originated from Indonesia, in Java.
Not even in Nigeria.
Now, the story behind it, the originality of all the process, before individual now decided to, you know, bring out the creativity the way you want it. Because in this life, you can't stay in one place. You don't have to, you have to spread your wings and, you know, to...
Man, okay. How long have you been in this business, and how profitable is this business?
Well, I would say It has been a long time. It has been a long time, but let me cut it short, maybe like 15 or so years.
Wow. 15?
Yes. And it's very, very profitable. Very, very.
Yinka Shogbo? I trust her.
I'm even into part-time teaching too. I go to
so
some.
you can teach me and TD.
Why not? That's my job.
You collect money.
Before encore.
Hey, wow. Adire, but looking at the speed at which modernization has taken over the world, naturally, the kids, if you're not wearing a Versace or thereabout, for Nigerians, we tend to look to the Europeans more. How well is our culture looking towards this direction in this modern world?
Well, I would say it's rather unfortunate because most of these things is really dying here. The most people that is promoting all this our culture, they are European people.
Okay.
You know, they love it a lot. Like Yoruba will always say, I don't know how to pronounce that in the share, you understand. We don't really key into our culture. You understand? We prefer all this European culture than we do. But you could see that during the Osun Osogbo festival, majority of the people that will come in, some will come up purposely because of this thing. You understand? Like this batik now, or the adire, you can use it to do many things. Like the cushion we are sitting on, we can use it for it. We can use it for window blind. You can use it to do quit.
What about jeans?
Why not?
This particular material.
Yes. Wow. So we can use even your face cap, anything. We can use it to do it. Do you understand? So even the t-shirts and some other things like that. Some people will even from overseas there, they are going to send a message to you. There's a way we do things to send it to them over there. They can even invite you for an exhibition, some other like that. But in Nigeria, what is killing this thing is, and we are looking into it, that government should help us to do something about it. You know, most of our this thing, the work, some people will buy it and they will take it to any textile company. You know, they will duplicate it, and you know, people outside there, they won't be able to know the difference between the original and that one. And with the price they are even selling it, so it's killing the job little by little. It's only some people, they still know more about it, that I want the original something, you know. And with the situation of the economy of Nigeria, some people don't want to care about whether it's the original, whether it's the other side ways. Their own is just to wear adire. And the example of those ones I'm talking about, you will see them shining like this. You see them outside. The surface will be shining somehow. And then batik adire, before you produce it, you know, when you newly buy a Guinea brocade, you will see that the texture of the surface, it will be shiny. It has a factory wax on it. You need to wash them. Okay. If you don't wash them, the candle will not be able to do what you want the candle to do. By the time you are dyeing it, it will look as if you are dyeing a plain cloth. So you have to wash, then spread it, let the sun beat it, then before you now start working on it on your table.
What's the durability of adire?
It depends. You see, it depends because there are many people working on this thing. We have some that at the end of the day, like now, if I do, am I permitted to, like myself now, if I do a work for you now, I will tell you, okay, this thing is going to last you for long, and you must not use soap for it. And this, if you can follow it, fine. But we have some people that they believe that Shebi cat wash on it. They will just do it. By the time you put it inside the water, everything will just wash up. So that's just it.
So the ingredients you use in producing your adire, is it locally sourced or you import them?
Yes, now most of it are imported now because like caustic soda is not locally made, it's a chemical. Hydrosulfide is also a chemical. Do you understand? Even the dye we are using is a German dye. So it's also imported. Do you understand? But the only dyeing stuff that are locally made at the Adireleko, there's no solution to that. You pass through the normal process.
That is still in existence.
Yes.
Adireleko.
Yes. But you know that kind of one is not meant for everybody. We have those primitive people that they are still doing. So
is it that if you want a particular design with that Adireleko,
yeah,
it's not going to give you what you want for the stuff
you see the different all this pattern we are doing. Like if you want to go strictly into traditional design,
okay,
there is a name given to each pattern.
Okay.
Sure, you understand. It's just like when you wear lace, you know, all this lace has a name they are given to it. So all these Adire also, they have their names they are given to it. Do you understand? We have even the Adireleko Adire design that we can use batik to do. There is a name given to it. Sure, you understand. Before all this one that you are seeing on my body is not even traditional. It's just another innovation, you know.
Western.
Something you created on your own and is meaningful, because like the way you are saying, if you don't say tell people that this is Adire batik from far, some people may be thinking it's Ankara, some may be thinking it's lace. Sure, you understand. And we just see that from the sensor of from the view of many people. Some people nowadays, they don't like something common.
Yeah.
They love something different. Sure, you understand. So that is what prompts us to not to just be in one corner. We have to look for anywhere to get another things, you know, being done.
So now, if you're selling your Adire, do you sell to wholesalers or retailers?
Yeah, both.
You sell to both.
Yes.
You have a potential customer right away. That's the thing.
Yeah, yes, now that's why I'm here now.
So how can the original Adire be differentiated from the others?
Yes, it can be differentiated from the dye, the arrow they use, because like that of traditional one, there's no substitute for the color. It's always an indigo. They call it indigo color. That indigo color looks like navy blue. Was a very, very thick one. Do you understand? And it's always in white and that color.
Let's look at how long, if I want to learn now, and which I am going to, like how many years will it take me to know?
Well, I can't say years, and I can't say months, and I can't say days. It depends on how you can catch up. You know, when you have mind that this, because by the time you sit and you see the process, some may be scared, but I got to know this odd thing, you know, like
exactly.
how will I handle it? And but if you prepare your mind, it's all about mindset.
Okay.
So it's all about mindset.
Okay.
Even if I want to start teaching, you know, we'll start teaching by you get yourself a drawing book and pencil.
Wow.
We'll give you a design to do. Then we'll now text you your the mental picture. Maybe you can catch up with things. I can ask you to go and create any of the patterns on your own.
Wow.
So just see how you can go. Do you understand? Like your shirts, two of you shirts now, I can catch a design from it.
Are you serious?
And turn it to something on my own.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So if I don't want to learn and I want to go into the business and I don't want to buy from people, like I want to own my own factory, is it possible?
Well, it's possible, but I won't lie to you. It's better for you to learn a little, because the Nigeria we have now, if they see you speaking, you know, saying some kind of terms related to the process, they will know you know about it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Okay.
But if you go there as a hat collector, or maybe as a money carry bag person, you know the way they will deal with you. So you understand? But when you get there, the way you talk, you use maybe all these are direct terms for them. They will know you know about it. Wow. So to deal with you, they will have a straight down dealing with you than parabolating. Sure, you understand? So that's just it.
Now, Mr. Okwa, look at what we are looking at on our screen.
Yeah.
Now, with what the young man is doing with the stick, putting it inside hot water, what's it? Is it boiling the cloth or what?
No, that is what we call the waxing. It's removing the wax.
The factory.
You know, after designing the whole thing,
okay,
you are going to dye the cloth, change it to the color you want from the former color to what you want. like the first one, which is that one is this one now. The original color is sky blue.
Okay.
Do you understand? Now let me call it turquoise blue, right?
Okay.
So after the designing, the guy now decided to dye it into red color.
Okay.
So after the dyeing, you are going to wash just to erase some chemical out of it, because you can't wear it like that with the chemical.
Oh, okay.
So you have to raise it a little. Then what it's doing now is what we call the waxing.
Okay.
So you will have to dip the cloth inside the hot water. It will be in the hot water. So the candle will remove inside that water. Do you understand? Then put it back into the cold water to raise. Sure, you understand? After raising it, you know, all the candle around the cloth will remove. But the funnest part of it is that after the waxing on that pot, we are not going to throw the water away, because you are still going to get your candle back.
From that water?
Yeah, after, you know, after the water might have get cold. So you are going to get the candle back and you use it for another thing again.
To produce?
Yes.
My goodness.
So if one is going into this business, now I've trained, now let's assume I've trained, I'm going into this business, like how much? I mean, the capital? Really, you are talking about to learn, Abi? Yeah, I've learned. Now let's say I've learned, like some viewers at home that have learned and they want to go into the business.
Formally, you don't need much capital, but now you need huge capital, because like a Guinea brocade, we know what Guinea brocade is speaking about now. You understand? And sometimes you have to do quality job for your customer, because we have some people that they will feel the texture of your cloth, what you are wearing. Like this one I'm wearing now, me, I don't like putting starch into my cloth. Sure, you understand? Putting starch into cloth, you won't know the texture of your cloth. So what you can start with, at least for now, you can start with between 50 and 100.
Wow. So if I'm investing 50 and 100 now, what's going to be my turnover?
Like if I want to sell, that is the reason why.
Sorry, I want to ask a personal question. Let's say I give you 50,000 now, 100K now, before you leave the studio now, that I'm investing in this business. So in 6 months, how much are you going to pay?
Well, it depends on your marketing strategy.
Am I the one that will sell?
My own is to produce for you. You are the one to sell it.
Okay.
My own is to produce for you, but what I would do for you that, you know, will attract people. Sure, you understand. What you are going to tell them, okay, this thing, no, if you put it inside the water, it's not going to wash, it's not going to, you know, this thing, if at the end of the day they could be able to realize that, they will call you something, next time.
So let's look at government's participation in local businesses like this. I've seen that some more modern countries, the developed countries, when they see things like this, they're always excited and what have you. But here in Nigeria, do we get government intervention at all levels for people like you to be able to expand your businesses more than the way it is?
I would say we didn't see any help from the government.
Wow.
And you know, I would say, okay, from Prince Oyinlola regime, before we will normally have what we call skin accusation for women in the Nile constituency, and they always invite us to partake from it, but everything has stopped now.
Wow.
Do you understand? And for you to now say, okay, you want to go to Ministry and Art and Culture, it takes a process. That's where we find ourselves.
Basically, everything has to be run by you and you
alone, until maybe like the way we met now, coincidentally, I can meet who is who. I can't.
So now let's talk about location. Where is the right location? We discovered the place you are is kind of bushy. So is it necessary to set up in a bush?
Well, the reason why we choose that place is because, you know, there's a water around us. This thing consumes a lot of water, a lot. There's a water around us. Then we want to use that place as a strictly traditional, you know, area, at least just to symbolize what we're doing there. Although that place we are even paying for the place. So, but at least you know it's I mean people are coming, bringing their maybe during the break time to come and learn one or two things when they see the beauty of what we are
What you doing? Absolutely.
And we are not into adire only. We are into painting too.
Painting, like drawings.
Yes, painting and drawing, all this abstract painting and some other things like.
So now I'm going to ask. You said this water, you can get your candle wax.
Yeah.
From it. So how do you dispose? I mean, there is this popular adire, producer in my area, and you discover on some days they produce, the street is always messy. You see, you see that. How do you dispose your water?
That is what we are avoiding over there. You can see that we try to, when they are trying to do the bridge along that place, those people constructing that place, we tell them to help us to do drainage. You understand now? So we have a gutter that we're pouring everything into.
Okay.
So not to just mess up the place around. Yeah.
Let's quickly just compare and contrast the acceptability of Adire, Kampala, what's that, Ankara, all these clothes. Let's look at the acceptability. Which would you rate higher?
What do you expect me to say? Yes, now it's even in Lagos, we believe Lagos is a state for a social event or something like that. They are using batik or adire for Ashwebi now. Do you understand? They are using it for Ashwebi, and when you look at the rate of the way it's going on, or let me use an example of one of the contemporary artists that has shoot up from this profession, like Mama Nike. We all know Nike Gallery. You understand now? So I would say Adire.
Wow.
Okay, now there is this Adire. I don't know if it's Adire, I will call it, but I was gifted by someone. But I'm thinking it's the China one because she bought it from a popular market, and when she told me the price she bought it, my instinct told me this is not original Adire. So how do I differentiate?
That is what I'm telling you. That is the particular Adire. Yeah. Even they will make it 6 yards.
It's like nylon.
It's like nylon, yes. Now, but by the time you wash it, you are going to know the difference. So that is what is spoiling the market.
Oh my goodness!
You understand? Some people won't bother to know whether it's original, whether. So their own is just to put on Adire.
So what are the prices you sell your?
Yeah, you see, like batik now. The prices of batik start. You are going to start from 15. We have some 25, some
How many
50,
yards?
5 yards.
Really?
Whoa. Because by the time you look at the rate of how you produce them, okay, like this one now that I'm wearing, cost me like 3 days to do.
Okay.
On the 5 yards.
Just this 5 yards?
Yes, 3 days to do. And when you look at it, you see different colors inside it. Sure, you understand. So before you now produce that, be on your seat, think and some other things with the stress. In fact, by the time you are there to learn, I will not be the one to tell you how much are you going to sell your product before you know. You at the end of the day, you'll be telling me that the price I'm selling this thing is too small. Very, very cheap. But sometimes we do that so that we can draw near customers, at least to start making names, you have to start from somewhere.
Absolutely.
So that's
absolutely.
There's this trend now on social media. They put on Adire, especially for females, and their names to be written.
Seriously, that is where we are selling now. Yes, now if you go to Instagram,
like if I just put stuff like that on, people will easily know my name.
Of course,
I think it's cool.
Absolutely.
Now, while as we coast home this morning, there are people out there saying "Go share," with what you decided to do. What message do you have for those who feel, look, I can't go into all these kind of things?
I would just advise them that they should wake up from their slumber. You understand?
Wake up.
Yes, they should wake up. Because telling anybody that there's no job, like me now, I'm a graduate. So everybody has one or two things, to dish out to the society. So they should try as much as possible to prove their talent, so that there won't be a waste at the end of the day.
Okay. You just gained an apprentice. There is this guy you met on your way coming to the studio. That fat man at the end. So I'll pay for him.
I just hope he won't take over the show.
You will go there, drink, you understand them.
It's been a pleasure having you, Mr. Kumola Gabriel. He is an Adire designer and he's doing so fabulously well for himself. I'll go look for some of my clothes and bring it. That you use the ones you can use, and let's turn it into something different.
Can lace be turned into Adire?
In as much as 100% cotton.
Nice.
Oh goodness!
Yes,
Ani Baba, you have lot. There's a big lot for you now.
You even won 1 guinea yesterday. We are taking it.
Yeah. Thank you most sincerely, Mr. Kumola.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's about that time. We have been able to wrap it, and we feel and we believe that we have been able to serve you every bit of excitement this morning, as always, on Western Spring Television. We'll be back again next week, Saturday, on another scintillating edition of the program. And as we have said, please, let's make sure that we live in peace and keep peace. Let's give peace a chance. Let's not make the state volatile for each other. Tunde Idowu is my name.
And Olayinka Ali is my name. Have a beautiful Saturday.
Bye for now.
Ojúmọ́ ti mọ́ ara mi ẹgbẹ́ra nílẹ̀ iṣẹ́ ti yá. Ojúmọ́ ti mọ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi ẹ̀gbọ́nra jìgì kátúnra mú. Oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ alákọ̀wé gbogbo ẹni tó ń wáṣẹ́ ọmọlé ìwé o. Òwúrọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o. Ẹni máa ríre o. Wọ́n á ṣe bá o. Ọjọ́ ẹni máa ríre o, ẹni máa ríre o, wá ṣèbà òwúrọ̀ o, let's go my beautiful sisters. Òwúrọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o, ẹni máa ríre o, wá ṣèbà òwúrọ̀ o. Òwúrọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o, ẹni máa ríre o, wá ṣèbà òwúrọ̀ o. Let's go once again. Òwúrọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o, ẹni máa ríre o, wá ṣèbà òwúrọ̀. Òwúrọ̀ lọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o, ẹni máa ríre o, wá ṣèbà òwúrọ̀. How do you do? Good morning, I greet you. We got some work to do. Good morning, I greet you. How was your night? Good morning, I greet you. It will be a beautiful day if you do your work with honesty and pride. You will find your dreams coming true very soon. Said if we could be patient and live within the law, there will be much progress. Everyone will be happy. Good morning, I greet you. How do you do? Good morning, I greet you. We got some work to do. Good morning, I greet you. How was your night? Good morning, I greet you. It will be a beautiful day. Ojúmọ́ ti mọ́ mi ẹ̀gbéra nílẹ̀ iṣẹ́ ti yá ojúmọ́ ti mọ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi ẹ̀gbọ́nra jìgì ká tún ra mú oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ alákọ̀wé gbogbo ẹni tó ń wáṣẹ́ ọmọlé ìwé òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o wọ́n á ṣe máa wò òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o ẹ má jẹ́ àṣebà òwúrọ̀ let's go beautiful people.
òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o wọ́n á ṣebà òwúrọ̀ òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o wọ́n á ṣebà òwúrọ̀.
One more time.
òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o wọ́n á ṣebà òwúrọ̀. òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o wọ́n á ṣebà òwúrọ̀.
Òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o wọ́n á ṣe máa òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o jẹ́ ẹjọ́ òwúrọ̀ let's go again.
òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o wọ́n á ṣe máa òwúrọ̀ ọlọ́jọ́ ẹni máa ríre o ẹni máa ríre o
ìlú ìbàdàn. ìlú ìbàdàn ni olú ìlú àti ìlú tí ó tóbi jù ní ìpínlẹ̀ ọ̀yọ́ tó wà ní ẹkùn ìwọ̀ oòrùn gúúsù ilẹ̀ nàìjíríà kò dín ní èèyàn bíi mílíọ̀nù 6 tó ń gbé nígboro ìlú ìbàdàn nìkan ṣoṣo odù ifá ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì ni àwọn yorùbá gbàgbọ́ pé ó tẹ ìlú ìbàdàn dó àwọn ọmọ ìlú ìbàdàn jẹ́ akíkanjú wọ́n fẹ́ràn ìdàgbàsókè ọ̀làjú ni wọ́n àwọn baba ńlá wọn sì jẹ́ jagunjagun àbájọ tí a fi máa ń gbọ́ nínú oríkì wọn pé ìbàdàn mèsì ọ̀gọ̀ nílé olúyọ̀lé ìlú ògúnmọ́lá olódògbò kẹ̀rí lójú ogun ìbàdàn ọmọ àjòrò sàn ọmọ àjẹgbínyó ọmọ àfikàràhùn fọ́ orí mu. olúbàdàn lórúkọ oyè ọba ilẹ̀ ìbàdàn máyẹ̀ okùn adé ló kọ́kọ́ jẹ baálẹ̀ nìbàdàn gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìlú ńlá ọ̀pọ̀ àwọn iléeṣẹ́ àti àjọ ńláńlá ló wà nílùú ìbàdàn ìbàdàn tó gbonílé tó gbé àlejò ọmọ ìbàdàn kí ni sóò.
Dewale onílù, play for me. The drummer of peace, play for me. I feel like dancing, play for the African rhythm, play for me. In the mood, oh yeah, play for me, play for me, play for me. I feel it in my mind. Play for me, the African reading. Play for me, African reading. Oh yeah, play for me. Mofecho, play your drum. Dewale, ọmọ balaoye, aláṣẹ àfìlú. Oh yeah, play for me. Mofejo, olùsí mi ní bàjí. Èmi arẹwà, mo fẹ́ jó. Àjọkẹ́ Adé, ó yá, mo fẹ́ jó.
balẹ̀ jó alùlù balẹ̀ lùlù ti jẹ́ màlùlù tí kò balẹ̀ jó ṣebí iṣẹ́ bàbá mi mò ń ṣe ìlú bàbá mi mò ń lù alùlù màtó dára sí i.
Iṣẹ́ bàbá mi mò ń ṣe, ìlú bàbá mi mò ń lù, èmi mò ń lùlù, ìdàgbọ́n má lù mí. Àbìdí ẹ̀ ṣe pátákó pátákó, àbìdí ẹ̀ ṣe pátákó pátákó. Níbo ni kò ní mi sí? Ní lọ́hùn. Ní lọ́hùn. Tó bá ṣe pé mi nìwọ ni ǹbá fapájó fapájó fapájó. Tó bá ṣe pé mi nìwọ ni ǹbá fẹsẹ̀ jó fẹsẹ̀ jó fẹsẹ̀ jó. Tó bá ṣe pé mi nìwọ ni ǹbá fi gbogbo ara. Òkè àpáta òkè àpáta àtó bàbá àpẹ nìkan ní bàbá òkè àpáta.
ìlú Abẹ́òkúta gẹ́gẹ́ bí orúkọ rẹ̀ ìlú tí a tẹ̀dó sábẹ́ Olúmọ ó jẹ́ ibùgbé àwọn ẹ̀yà Ẹ̀gbá àti Òwu tó jìjàǹgbara lọ́wọ́ Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ àtijọ́ láàrin ọdún 1775 sí 1780 ní akọni Lísàbí Àgbòǹgbò Àkàlà léwájú wọn láti dáwọ́ sísan ìṣákọ́lẹ̀ fún Aláàfin dúró ìdí nìyí tí àwọn ọmọ Abẹ́òkúta ṣe ń pe ara wọn ní ọmọ Ẹ̀gbá mọ Lísàbí Àgbòǹgbò Àkàlà. Ìlú Abẹ́òkúta jẹ́ ìlú àwọn ọ̀làjú àti aláfẹ́ ọ̀pọ̀ àwọn òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun ló fi bẹ̀ ṣe ìlú pàápàá lásìkò ìjọba amúnisìn. Ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì àkọ́kọ́ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ní St. Peters tó wà ní Aké ilé ìwòsàn àkọ́kọ́ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà Sacred Heart Hospital ìlú Abẹ́òkúta ló wà. Aláké lorúkọ oyè ọba ìlú Ẹ̀gbá bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni Òkè Olúmọ wà níbùdó tó tẹ́jú láti lè fi rí gbogbo ìlú Abẹ́òkúta ní orí òkè náà. Àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n àti onímọ̀ púpọ̀ ló jẹ́ ọmọ bíbí ìlú Abẹ́òkúta àwọn bíi ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Wọlé Ṣóyínká ọ̀jìnmí akọni obìnrin ní Fúnmiláyọ̀ Ransom Kuti àtọ̀pọ̀ àwọn míì. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àti àdìrẹ níṣẹ́ tó gbayì nílùú Abẹ́òkúta. Ẹ̀gbá mọ Lísàbí.